We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Week 2 and the relaunch of the Technologist Forum. And listen, it's just getting better and better each time. I've got some amazing co-hosts behind the scenes right now, and we're going to continue on having these conversations. We're going to continue talking about tools, about value as it relates to digital creators, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, those folks that are in this ecosystem that are looking to level up what it is that they do. Please, let's make this interactive. You got questions, you know the moderator spiel, put a Q in the comments so we can handle that and so we can make sure we address your concerns. But without further ado, let's get it going, you guys. Welcome again to the Technologist Forum. Folks are joining from all over the place, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I got these two guys to decide. Hold on, let me make sure I get my point right. Let me get my point right. Oh my gosh. Um, let's do this. Let's go by the order that you arrived in the studio, as opposed. Oh, see, look at it, Matt. See, you're already out of turn. You're at it because you were half a minute late. So we're going to go with stage right. Greg Russell, tell the folks who in the world it is that you are, and thank you for being here as a co-host.
Oh, thank you so much. Pleasure is all mine. My name is Greg Russell, and I have a digital marketing agency that I started in 2001, affectionately known as the Tech Jedi. And I love helping entrepreneurs learn how to navigate this digital landscape and help them grow their business. So I'm all about helping people become profitable online.
It's a good 35,000 foot level right there, right? Boom, elevator pitch. It's almost like you've given that before. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you, Mr. Greg Haas. See, I got you backwards. I got you mixed up, Mr. Matt Haas, sir.
Hey,
All right, let me be more respectful, to put some respect on your name. Matt, tell the folks who you are if you don't mind.
excellent. I am a YouTuber. I make videos, lots of videos. I've been doing it on YouTube for 11 years. I'm also a technology expert. I, for a while, was a contributing member to the W3C. Only a few hundred people in the world do that. I was one of them. I follow the tech news. I love tech, and I'm ready to talk AI.
See, with all those credentials, that's why I got mixed up, right? I'm nervous here. I'm surrounded by these winners here, like my man Chris Stone said. All these winners on the screen. So, listen, let's go ahead and get into it, you guys. We are continuing on with the conversation like we had from last week, and shouts out to our co-hosts that were there for that to kind of kick that off. AI from a digital creator's perspective, from an entrepreneur's perspective, from someone who's looking to leverage new technology. But the question this week is, all right, we got all these tools, fantastic, right? We got tools that help, again, as I always say, eliminate steps in the workflow, which in my mind will always be a good thing because I'm getting a little bit more seasoned in life, as you see from a lot of salt in the beard, but anything to make the life a little bit easier, more effective use of the time. But are we getting lazy? Is AI making us, specifically us, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, digital creators, because I want to focus in on folks that are within our ecosystem. Are we getting lazy because we have access to so many high quality tools, right? There's some tools out there that are garbage and they're trash, true, but there's some good stuff that's out there, and there are good stuff coming out from the large uh, software houses, from the Googles of the world, from the Metas of the world, from the Open AIs and some of the other folks out there. So let me just put that question to you guys. Do you think that we're getting lazy with folks within our niche and within our ecosystem because we have access to so many quality tools today?
I can jump in if you'd like.
No, I know you can jump in. You can better
All right.
act like you home.
All right. My take is everyone falls into two constituent groups. One constituent group is not being made lazy by AI, and the other one is. And it has to do, when we're speaking about creative, because that was the preface, creators using AIs, are they becoming lazy? Those who understand good design principles are not becoming lazy. Those who don't understand good design principles, perhaps in some cases are taking what AI generates and running with it, not knowing the principles that make things look and sound and feel good. So those that know about white space and rule of thirds and the golden ratio and
Oh wow.
and color theory and those. So that's the way I look at it.
No, don't, you don't make me nervous. Yeah, I'm making sure that all my stuff is our stuff is lined up right. You know, I got my perspectives and I got my grading right and my overlay. Come on now, man. Let's work together, brother.
Well,
I'm over here feeling a little apprehensive now. I just want to make sure that all my stuff is lined up on the X and the Y. But
Well, I mean, hey,
you know,
I,
let's keep it real. Keep me correct here. Keep me honest. That's good though. That's good. What about you, Greg? What are your thoughts on just that high level, and then we can dive deeper.
I think it depends. Um, because when you think about a creative, the question I usually have is, well, what is the business model? Okay. Is the business model to, create stuff and get paid for what you create? Or is what you're creating being used to help you market and sell and promote a business or service? And so I think that for some of us who, when it comes down to AI, it all comes down to the experience because AI has information and AI can do what computers do, which is, copy and share information. But when it comes to being creative, what is the business model, right? And how are you using it? Because we're in a transition phase with this new AI coming in, right? And so like I think like 5 years from now, it really not going to matter, but it matters now to what you're going to do with the AI that you have it.
Mm.
So is it making some people lazy? Yeah, I think so. But at the end of the day, you know, as AI continues to grow and evolve at this pace, will it matter in 5 years?
That's too long. 5 years is too long.
five years is forever in
Right
tech.
at our rate of
Yeah,
change,
yeah, I
when you think
know.
about it, 3 6 months is short midterm.
Yeah.
So I would so let's challenge that. Let's bring it back. And folks, we see you chopping in. We see Talk Virtual talking about. I'm a fan of design principles. Again, like Matt was saying, all of the tools that we use on a day-to-day basis to do our shows. We all have various shows, and they'll be in the description as well, so folks can check them out. But could you still do your show today as efficient and as effective and be efficient? How about that? How about if I spin it that?
Oh,
Be right as effectively as you do, but as efficiently as well. Because like Matt, I see you've got all kind of assets that are popping up throughout your shows, your stream elements or I don't know if your stream labs, things of that. So tools that are reading comments. Could your show be as dynamic without some of those tools and some of those algorithms watching your engagement activity?
wholeheartedly yes, because I use AI for creative purposes zero, hardly at all.
Let's talk about it.
I
Come on.
have other things. I have other things I would like AI to do. I can give you examples of things that it's having trouble with, but creatively, I wouldn't say I never use AI, but very little, very little. So yes, I will crank at the same pace if AI would blow up tomorrow.
Well, we don't want that to happen. Listen. Okay.
If
See
it
now,
would.
now
Uh,
you extreme. Now you're an extremist, man.
hey, I'm coming at you turned up to level 10.
You turned up, boy. I tell you what, we
That's the
got Matt
way I
Haas for
am.
real. All right.
It's funny because I think, AI helps you speed up what you're doing. So you can use it to do more faster.
Mm,
Um, so I think one of the main benefits of AI is to be able to do more faster, right?
Yeah.
And so instead of just copying, like you can use it to just do more faster. You can create more stuff. You can get more ideas. You can use it to like a lot of people are asking it questions, and you know I remember when it first came out, I was like, listen, how long before it's going to ask itself questions, right? And I think one of the best ways that I've
mm.
seen to use it is that I get it to ask me questions. Like you can tell it, ask me these questions, and it'll and when you get the questions now, you can use it to help pull out of you ideas and strategies and things that are already inside of you. You just need someone asking you the right questions. So sometimes you can flip it on its head if you think about it differently. You just have to start to be creative with what you can do with it.
I agree. Those that use AI to help them come up with their talking points, to help them come up with the outline, to
Mm.
help them flush out their ideas, very good. Very, very good at doing that. Um, my first comment was graphics and art. No, I don't need AI very much for that. And my content is I talk about what I did the day before. Okay, I don't need AI for that. Or my other content is I put videos of how I've made something in the wood shop. I don't need AI to tell me how to make something in the wood shop. It's documenting my process.
Right.
That's what it is. But if I had a show where I was talking about tech or talking about how to be successful on YouTube, then I would pour in my rough notes into AI and come out with something better. That's a great use case for AI. And that's where I think it's really working well.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of ties into some of the notes that you sent me the other day, right? Again, are some creatives overextending themselves and using some of these tools, using some of these AI algorithms
Oh,
and putting
do you
assets in
want,
the wrong place?
do you want some examples of people using AI, but they just don't use it correctly?
Oh,
I can rattle off a
oh
few.
Lord, Lord, I hope I'm not on that list. Good Lord.
No, no, your stuff is tight. Come on.
Go,
Your
all
stuff
right, let's
always looks
go.
good,
Come
Jim.
on, what you got?
Well, I've seen someone take the promo of like, this is going to happen on this show. Tune in tonight. But then they play that during the show. I'm like, it's 15 minutes after showtime. Why
Yeah.
am I listening? So, yes, AI did a good job, but the creator didn't implement it correctly. So, like, you still have to have, knowledge of run of show, and you have to put yourself in the mind of the viewer. Like, anyway, so that was one example. I
No,
got more.
so that right there, we're gonna we're gonna pull some of these band-aids off, right? Again, because we want to put mirrors in front of folks and say, listen, you're doing something, but let's try to do it the right way. Not We don't necessarily have
Yeah,
all the answers, but we want to have constructive criticism, constructive feedback, knowing when to leverage it, knowing when and where to use it. Again, that was from some of the notes and some of the examples that you just used right there. Um, are we not even fact checking the facts, which may not be facts in and of themselves? Type in a prompt, you know how to write a rudimentary prompt. One thing I would say, learn how to write proper prompts. For one thing, let's start there. But again, getting that output from whomever, from your Claude, from your OpenAI, from your Merlin, whoever, right? And
Gemini.
then not really validating some of those outputs puts you at
I,
risk for looking like, one, you didn't write it, right? If it's a published post or stuff, you're trying to make a newsletter post or a blog post or something, it shows that you lose credibility immediately because folks can read through. I
Yeah.
can tell when something is written by a computer as opposed to written by Greg Russell.
I've seen other people critique a press releases. They're like, you use the old version of ChatGPT for this. They could tell at that level. Like, I'm not that honed in on it, but yes, what you're saying, people can do. I don't have the talent yet, but people can do it.
I think if you have someone who has experience in the thing that they're trying to do, they can use ChatGPT to help them. But somebody who doesn't have
Mm,
experience at the thing and they're relying on it, I mean, it's you can tell right away, just like you said, somebody playing a promo after the thing started, like that experience would kick in. And I think the people, and if we look at it like back in the day when the technology was changing the farming industry, right? The people who were farmers and knew how to do it would learn how those tools could help them better versus someone who wasn't a farmer and think if they just had the tool they could automatically be a farmer. And the same thing today, there's tools out there, hammers and nails, but that don't mean you can build a house. But when it comes to AI and computer stuff, people all of a sudden think just because it's there they can do things that they don't have experience doing. And so I think experience plays a really important role in how you use AI.
That's true. That's
y'all gonna
true.
act like Greg didn't just drop a gem on you right there, right? If you got hammers and nails, but that don't mean you can build a house. So somebody better put a like or something in the comments for that right there, because that's going to be cut up in about 2 hours. That's going to be, you're going to be all over the internet, brother. Right there.
I've also
You can have
seen
hammers and nails, but
I've
you
also
can't build a
seen some
house.
subtle mistakes that just wreck the delivery because someone had was talking about a topic and there was lots of nuance, lots of examples,
Hmm.
and it was all on point. Like there was nothing out of place. The only problem was he blew through the whole delivery in 15 minutes. It was 45 minutes worth of content and it was just rapid fire to the camera. I'm like, AI didn't do a bad job. The
Yeah.
host did a bad job delivering it. So I'm like, you need to slow down. Let's talk about that other point. It was just boom, 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 boom. Next slide. I was like,
Yeah.
come on now.
Well, but that's a training. That's a comfortability thing, right? As well, knowing when to pause, knowing when to let something marinate. Just like Dave Hart's having, sounds like a t-shirt, hammer and nails. Right? I let that marinate just for a minute, because that right there wanted folks to grasp that. But that's something. That's like a Toastmasters thing. That's like getting in front of the room every now and then, and actually what I call doing the jazz hands and having conversations. You kind of have to learn that and experience that.
There you said experience. And then, where is a lot of this stuff pulling from? It's pulling from the internet. Well, the internet's full of misinformation.
Mm.
And I'll give you another example. Like there was a entrepreneur who came about a coach of a certain status, and he said, ending your prices in 97 always produce higher results.
Mm.
And the truth of the matter is, when he tested it, he was testing it with a specific market, with a specific product and a specific thing. And if you test yours, you may find that ending at 97 may not produce better results. But most people don't test it. They just hear what they need to hear, and then they go with it. And so now AI is here and it's pulling information from the internet full of misinformation. And so you still may get misguided. So it comes down to experience and actually testing things for yourself.
I agree with testing. I asked AI how I could search a YouTube channel to find the live stream where I mentioned a 2-word phrase. I only mentioned it twice during 1,000 shows. And it said, oh, here's a Chrome extension. It can do it. I get the Chrome extension, fires it up. It works, but it only works on the video tab. It doesn't work on the live stream tab. Oh, like if I would have went to my audience and that be an answer that someone asked me and said, here's a tool that can do it, I would lose credibility because it can't search the live stream tab. It only searches the video tab, which, like, what's the difference between a live stream replay and a video? Apparently there's something different enough for this extension not to recognize it. So credibility.
Credibility, when to use, where to use, how to use.
Double check. Like Greg said, check it.
Check your word.
I remember time I asked ChatGPT a question. I knew the answer and it gave me the wrong answer. And I told it the right answer and gave it a link to where it could find the right answer. And it was like, oh, I'm sorry, you are correct, blah, 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 blah. I was like, it just because it can give you something don't mean it's the truth. You have to know what you're looking for, what to expect. And if it gives you the wrong answer, you need to be able to correct it. So when it comes to how you can use it, if you don't have some experience, like, listen, man, that thing about having 10,000 hours in the thing, if you don't have your 10,000 hours in the game, right, to be quote unquote expert, you can't. It's going to be a difference between someone who has that 10,000 hours using ChatGPT or AI and someone who doesn't, because someone who doesn't won't know that that's not the correct thing that it's giving you.
That's pretty good. I love the fact. So shouts out. I see John in the building. Appreciate you for being here, sir. I'm looking forward to being on your stream in a couple of weeks or days. I don't know. Lord have mercy. And it's funny that you start talking about time, and Florence shows up, because she and I talk a lot about time and day, the minutes in the day, the hours in the day, and making sure we take advantage of that. So this is everything's kind of falling into place here. That's just good stuff. That's good stuff. Get some. Okay, I appreciate y'all. Again, we over here experimenting with the look and feel. Let me ask this back to kind of what we were just talking about and the validation piece, right? Because you both touched on this, and then Matt, I want to go into kind of one of the tests that you brought up, and let's get a definition explanation of what the test is. when you put a prompt in, let's say you write a fantastic prompt and you get a result, but again, you don't do that extra effort to validate it. One, shame on you. But let's say you do that extra effort of validating and putting it out, checking your resources, checking old school bibliography stuff, right? Come on, we're gonna go back to junior college, 2-year school, 4-year school, wherever you went. I'm not gonna judge anybody, but do that extra effort, right? Again, before you put something out, especially us as entrepreneurs, us as business owners who are not just out here placating, having fun, and just live streaming or broadcasting and publicizing things just to do it. While we're looking to gain clients, we're looking to increase our brand, personal branding, and things of that. So that's why we're using a lot of these tools. But there are times when there are times when computers get it wrong. Matt Haas, talk a little bit about what is the Turing test.
Ah,
See how I just flowed into
yeah.
that? God, it's almost like
Turing test
I've done this
is
before.
when it's indistinguishable that you are talking to artificial intelligence or interacting with artificial intelligence. It could just be having a chat with someone, so all you see is what they type. That could be a Turing test. Or you could have a humanoid android robot that you're talking to, and it's so human-like you can't tell. That's passing the Turing test. That's what that means. And I know there's a service out there that will take your still image and have you talk based on the script that you give it. And if you pay them enough money, they'll use your voice as the speech of you talking. And those have not passed the Turing test yet, in my opinion. Or should I say, for the first 10 or 15 seconds, they pass the Turing test.
Yeah.
And then it gets to that point where it's like, ooh, wait a minute. And it's not so much, well, the thing that made me figure it out is the speech was like out of an encyclopedia, and this person doesn't talk like an encyclopedia. This person, adds different phrases into their speech just for a little bit of flavor and things like
Yeah.
that. I'm like, there's none of that. There ain't none of it.
There's no ad
This
lib at
is
all,
a
right?
4-minute diatribe, and I haven't heard one, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that.
Or things of this nature. You know
But
it's
other
me
than that,
for real if it says and things of this nature. And Chris Stone is in the room, so he can validate me on that. It's all conscious and on purpose. Okay.
Yeah, the Turing test, but that's what it means. You can't tell that you're talking to a computer. It would mean it has passed the Turing test.
So how do we rise above that? And then I pose this to you guys both, and I pose this to the folks in the audience as well. All these tools, all this capability, all this ability to speed through and put something out there, just blast our communities with content. But if we're not passing that, if we're not passing the Turing test by showing some originality, showing that creative and the digital creator piece, why even do it?
The solution has already been built in, where AI now remembers your tone, your mannerism, your writing style, your
Yes.
delivery style. And you could even say, here's 5 blog posts that I've written, or here's 5 descriptions of my YouTube video. You just give it examples of your stuff, and then it will start generating responses as it thinks you would have said it. That gets you closer to solving the Turing test. That's one thing. Maybe it's not the complete answer, but it's one step to that answer, James.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was able to create a prompt asking, I fed it videos and then I ask it to pull out my tone, my style of speech, certain catchphrases that I use, and it blew me away. It was kind of like it put it in a document, so then I could then take that and add it to a different LMM to have it talk in my tone and style if I wanted to. So you can do some things to get it. And it was funny with some of the catchphrases that it pulled for me, because one of the ones it said was like boom, right? Because usually when I'm demoing some software or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, and we get it, and you click this, and then boom, there you go. And so it, it put like boom in
That's an
in
old
the
that's an old Steve Jobsian statement right there
yeah,
too. So I'm
yeah, yeah.
okay.
That's one way you can get around, get above it.
Okay. Okay. Um, we got a question that came in. I want to answer this question first, John. Yeah. So, John, yeah, I am using software that allows me to pull in comments from all platforms. So we're streaming again all across the internet. We're trying to break the internet. Um, hopefully, we do one of these days. But yeah, all comments coming in from all different streams are being pulled in, and all the comments as well. So if you're anywhere watching, put a comment out there, and we will answer it. Like our guy Real Men Rising has said, how can ChatGPT help someone in prepping for a job interview? What type of commands should a person be looking to enter into ChatGPT or any other AI? And I'm glad you, hey, well, I appreciate you for being here. I'm glad you said any other AI, because I want to ask you to, and we'll go ahead and name platforms. Is there a LLM of choice that you particularly use? Are you an OpenAI? Are you ChatGPT? Are you Anthropic, Claude? What's the first one that you guys go to?
Gemini for me, because it's cooked into Google. And I like to do a lot of research on Google assets and properties and platforms, and it's tapped in.
How was that for you today? Did it work today?
Gemini?
Yeah. See,
Well, it does and it doesn't, but yeah.
Greg, that was your opening, brother. That was your opening.
Oh man, that's funny.
Folks, if y'all don't realize or know, there was an outage today with a lot of Google services, and Google went, man, you just whiffed on that one. I set it up
My
perfectly.
my bad. Usually when you ask a question, I thought you was
Man,
asking it to him, and I didn't want to.
quick, brother. We over here. This is like, let's make a deal. It's like, Greg, what's your platform of choice, man? Okay,
Man, mine is OpenAI. That's the one I have spent the most time with, and so that's my go-to.
you pay for it, right? You're not just
Yes,
using
sir.
the free version.
No,
Okay,
I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it.
All right. I'm a Gemini person as well. I was OpenAI, but since I have a Google Workspace, I have access to all of the Gemini functionality and capabilities. But I use an integrator, aggregator, uh, something similar to like our guy Chris Stone here uses Magi. I uses one called Merlin that integrates all of them. So I get a little bit of Claude, I get a little bit of OpenAI, I get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Um, but yeah, I start with the Google ecosystem myself as well. And that's just as of recently, but I'll still play with the others to see. But when push comes to shove and I actually have to start coming up with ideas, coming up with frameworks, not the end product, but just the ideation piece. So, okay.
Oh, I thought of a response to the viewer question. What prompt should he use to
Yeah.
prep for a job interview? I would ask ChatGPT what prompt you should use to prep for a job interview, and it will tell you a good prompt to use for that purpose. So I didn't directly answer your question, but a lot of the new, well, things people do a lot nowadays is ask a chat service, what prompt should I use? And it's working very well. As a matter of fact, I saw Leslie Samuel. He wanted to do something with several services, and he asked ChatGPT what prompt to do to get it started. And then he asked ChatGPT how to stitch it all together. And after a while, ChatGPT gave, and he had no idea what make.com was. He had no idea what, and he's now using different services and a paid AI service and this and Notion and something else. And it's all going all sideways. He had no idea. He didn't Google search it. All AI. AI told him what to do. And it's amazing.
Yeah, and to pick up on that, you could also ask it what type of resume should you create for XYZ type of company, right? So if you know the industry you're going after, you can ask it what type of resume should you create, what things that you should be in there. And you could also have it ask you questions to say, hey, these are my experiences. Ask me the questions that you think would help me create the best resume possible so that I could get the job. So it's all about, again, flipping it and getting it to pull out of you what you can.
Kind of goes back to learning how to write prompts, proper prompt engineering, which now is a legitimate job search. Go out there on LinkedIn, you'll find prompt engineer as a post that large organizations are looking for. Never would have thought that a long time
Never
ago.
would have thought. I support it. Never would have thought.
It's almost like remember the movie War Games, or maybe I'm dating myself, but it's almost like the
Thermal global nuclear war.
come into life in all kind of different ways. Well, we'll leave that alone. But yeah, you youngsters, anyone under 30 wouldn't know what that is. Just I guess Google War Games. What was
Give
his
someone
name?
a computer with green text on a black background and say go. Watch them implode.
I've got it. Yeah, want to play a game. See, all my old school folks know that. You got to be of a certain lineage to understand.
I'm Gen X through and through, baby. Come on.
Appreciate
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's good. Listen, keep coming with the comments, folks. We got some winners right here. We got some folks here that got the questions and the answers, and we definitely want to have this discussion. So Matt, I may have misspoke when I thought earlier that you were using a lot of AI tools, but you say again, it's all coming straight off the dome a lot of times and more creativity, and you use it as a back burner. What would cause you to flip that a little bit, change that ratio?
Well,
I mean, would you see yourself moving more into some of this automated tool usage within your workflow?
Yes, and I'm struggling with it because
Okay.
the things I want to do are things that can't be done. Like I want to say my last 5 live streams, give me a list of every chat you channel name that commented the word Mario, but only count the person once per day. So, and you can't do that. It doesn't have a way into the live chat messages of that. So what I have to do is dump the transcripts on one at a time with a prompt. So I'll do Friday and then Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. And then I've got my 5 lists. It should be able to do it all for me. It doesn't. As a matter of fact, Tallboy solved something with Gemini, and I don't know how he did it. Back to the example, I wanted 2-word phrase. My friend said, "Remember a year or 2 ago, I said this comment. I want that video. Can you search and find it?" I'm like, I don't keep my transcripts going back more than 6 months. Toss them or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, AI's got to do it. So he said, on this YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, in this playlist, which is my morning show, Good Morning Haas, find the video URL where this 2-word phrase was mentioned. And it did it. I go to do it with Gemini. I have Gemini Pro, and it says I can't do that. So whatever he did, he has some magic I haven't figured out. That would make me use AI more. Chapters. You go to Descript.
Oh,
Descript
yeah.
makes beautiful chapters.
Yeah.
And so I know they're doing AI properly. When I do chapters with an SRT file, maybe it's just it has no idea the timestamps because an SRT file has a timestamp start and end for the sentence. And then it's just anywhere in those 15 seconds, it could do it when I start talking about a new topic and it marks it as a chapter. I can't get decent chapters out of ChatGPT to save my life, but there is a way to do it. So what would make Matt use AI more? Have Matt learn how to do accurate YouTube chapters based on an SRT file
Man,
or
that's
based on
like
some other file.
That's having 5 out of the 6 lotto numbers, because that right there, right, and all of us in this world know that's huge. Just by being able to have that piece of the puzzle, the
Yeah.
chapter piece.
See,
Right? Because again,
that's my issues. My issues isn't create me a thumbnail graphically. That's not
Okay.
my stumbling block. My stumbling block is here's a whole universe of data. Find me this exact thing in that universe of data. And ChatGPT and Claude come back and Gemini come back and say, well, I can do this on a specific video. Which specific video? I'm like, I don't know. I have 3.5 years worth of videos. It's somewhere in there. But
What
that's going to take too many resources, Mr. Haas. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud.
Well, I may have a resource for you for the chapters.
Yeah.
I use something called videotopage.com,
Okay.
videotopage.com, and it
Taking notes.
blows me away with the way it will do the chapters. It'll pull it out of your content. It has a button that says click here to create chapters, and it creates a chapter. So I
Do you
would
give it the
I would
video
try that.
file or do you give it the SRT caption file?
You give it the video file.
Yeah. Does it charge
You give it the
you
video file.
for minutes of video that it crunches through?
Yes, they charge you per hour of
Yeah.
stuff you do.
See,
Okay.
So many
that
hours.
that seems
But I
like
would I
a
would at
money
least,
grab.
try
And I
it and
have,
see.
yeah,
I would
I
try it and see. And for anybody else,
okay.
like I've used a lot of tools, I've bought a lot of stuff, and this one by far is one of those hidden gems that is really, really good for being able to do really specific things with your video to create blog posts or SOPs or training. Like if you do a training type video and you want like it written with screenshots, you just throw it in there and it does it automatically. You'll be okay. I was blown away. I don't know if you if you were blown away, but I've seen a lot and I was like, yo, this is really,
See,
really good. This is not something that everybody knows about. And you know,
all right.
works for me. So I definitely say,
Yeah.
check it out.
My question to the panel and my question to the James Hicks audience and my question to the world is, this wonderful service that you pointed to, they are using a prompt to make those wonderful captions. Why can't I know what that prompt is? Or why can't I have the knowledge to do that prompt myself and not need this service? That's what I want.
It's their
Someone
intellectual
figured it out
property.
for this service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Intellectual
how do
property.
I get to the point where I figure that out? That's what I
You
want.
Well,
you gotta practice.
that is.
I know.
We're talking about practice, man.
You gotta practice.
I'm
You gotta
sorry.
keep working on those prompts, boy.
we talking about
Who can I
practice.
hire to write me that identical prompt and teach me the processes that the person used to come up with the answer, whether it took a day or a week or something like that? Like, let's get this shortcut. How can I mind meld myself into this knowledge? That's what I want.
Yeah, I think you need to sign up for a Coursera course on prompt engineering, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever the case may be, and launch your own platform. But it's a great question, and I agree. Folks put it in the comments, but it's that IP, it's that intellectual property. Someone
That's right.
figured it out and came up with the idea, came up with the prompt, mastered it, and now they're charging for it. They're charging a little bit for it for sure. They charging good money for it. So if this was one of them old school LTDs that you got, Greg, then I salute you on that because
Well, you know how I do.
well we're not gonna put your business out there in the streets, and then I always say too, people pay attention to what they pay for. So if there's value in what you see from these plans, from their professional, from their business or their agency platform, I can't convert. What is that? Euros? No,
Yes,
I don't have any U.S.
it's
dollars
usually right around.
myself.
It's usually right around the same. So if it's
Okay,
17, it's usually 16 or 18. It's usually right around the same in US.
got you. Okay.
Usually,
Well,
but
hold
who knows?
on.
Who knows what all the changes going on?
Okay,
Everything's figure outable. That's all I know.
Yep.
And
that's a T-shirt right there. So if I calculate content potential and say your average video length is 60 minutes, price goes up. For the professional, it's 12 euros a month. For 5 hours, premium AI, multi-step reasoning, bleeding edge. Wow. Okay.
see, here's the thing though, James and Greg. Say I'm a volume creator. I do 5 shows a week.
Yeah.
Now they're 15 to 20 minutes,
Yeah.
but that's 15 to 20 minutes times 5 times 4.5 weeks per month. So and just to get captions for a funny vlog that I'm doing, like, ooh, like I do want to provide value to my audience, but like, is it $70 a month I gotta pay just to have good captions when some guy figured out the prompt at that service? Like, I don't even need to be I don't even need it to be that good. I need it to be good enough. Anyway, so I know I'm coming off mad. This is the way
He's
my
like,
life
This
has
man
been.
hot. This man
he's
got
like,
something
he's
on
like,
his
he's
mind.
like, he's like, I don't want to buy KFC. I want the recipe. I want the secret recipe.
Well, I mean, in the 90s, I was like, I want a web page where I have a box where the public can enter something in the box, hit a button, and then what they've entered stays in that box. And the guy I was talking to, like, well, you can't do that on our corporate platform. I'm like, all right, I'm going to figure this out. Next thing you know, I'm teaching myself web development. And then 14 years later, I'm on the W3C. So,
There you go. But okay,
it's just,
now put back in hindsight, think about that. You were back on that panel, W3C, probably actually writing in HTML, probably using goodness, I'm about to say Dreamweaver. Anybody remember Dreamweaver? I'm bringing that
I
up.
remember
Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
Well, now we don't need any of that. There's WordPress, there's Squarespace, there's all these object-driven
But it's all
environments.
HTML5 that was greenlit by the W3C.
Yeah.
That's how they work.
I tried to make a point, but you
Before
just corrected me. Yeah.
Dreamweaver.
Oh,
there
did I
was
derail?
Adobe
Oh,
No,
did I
that was
blow up
good
your
though.
point?
That was perfect though. You just threw me threw me off course, right?
Sorry, James.
You know, Erica said, I remember Dreamweaver. Yeah, okay. I don't know, man. And I think the best thing to do is, again, people pay attention to what they pay for. But again, you don't need all that functionality. So you don't need to pay the 49 euros a month for the business plan for 50 hours a month to generate 50.
Dreamweaver's worth it when you got the creative suite and it comes bundled in all together. That's the only way I recommend someone to buy Dreamweaver. Is the creative suite you have, does it include? Okay, then go ahead, use it. Don't just jump into Dreamweaver. You'll pull your hair out.
Yeah. Before Dreamweaver, there was Adobe Page Mill.
See, there you go.
Yeah. See?
There you go.
I'm going way back.
You're going way back. Good Lord.
Macromedia.
It's in Wikipedia.
Flash.
You can Google it.
This is what a lot of us old cats do. We go back and we reminisce about all the old school stuff. Next thing you know, we're gonna be talking about how fast modems were.
Dial up 14.4.
So okay, I'm not gonna derail us and take us down that path. But that's the fun part of being OG in this technical world.
You had to do modem math. Like, should I pay more for my modem? I would load AOL faster, and I would, because you paid AOL by the minute, and you're like, so you had to do this weird math. If your speed of your more expensive modem would get you more, you'd be log off AOL faster. You get it.
Oh, we get it.
How about your parents telling you to get off the phone line?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to use the phone for a minute to get this email. My U.S. robotics is at 300 baud right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I had AT&T drop another phone line in my family.
Let's leave it alone. Oh my gosh. How do we get ahead? Right. So how do we correct the challenges that we're facing today? Right. So back to the premise: are we being too lazy? And Matt, you made that statement. AI necessarily making people lazy. It's AI isn't stopping lazy people themselves from being lazy. How do we go down that fork in the road, as opposed to, again, becoming so complacent, so locked in, and so dependent on opening up our iPhones, having Apple intelligence isn't very intelligent, but having the capability to do so many things on the fly, anytime, anywhere, and being that creator that we should be, that we want to be, that we aspire to be. So how does, instead of AI making people lazy, rather AI isn't stopping lazy people from being lazy themselves?
Yeah, that's the phrase.
That's the question of the day, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's twofold. Time on task. I think Greg mentioned that earlier. That will help. And I don't know how this happens, but people have to have the will and the desire to learn what looks good and learn those design fundamentals and learn how to edit video in an editing app rather than pushing button in Opus Pro and coming out with a masterpiece, because they might not know that Opus Pro's decision might not have been the best decision.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm gonna let you say that again, but again, shouts out to Opus. You know who I'm
I
a
like
brand
Opus Pro.
partner with. So I don't want to mess up that relationship. But shouts out to Opus. But say that again, and hopefully I didn't completely derail you, because again, that may have gotten overlooked, because a lot of folks are becoming complacent on some of these tools. And one of the members of the brand partner team said that we can tell when a clip is made out of Opus, right? And that's a pro and that's a con. It's a pro for Opus, but I think it's a con for the majority of creatives who are actually creating, because I can tell when someone again just clipped it, had it create, and then push publish. Say that part again about being complacent about using, and you can talk specifically about Opus. It's all good. I'm not gonna mess.
No hate on Opus. It could be anything. It could be CapCut's AI. It doesn't matter. People should understand how to do video editing in a real video editing app and learn the video editing techniques. What's a J cut? What's an L cut? What about pacing? What about storytelling, beginning, middle, and end? Then when an AI generated video spits something out and 90% of it looks great, but that 10%, you would know that maybe that 10% slice is where someone's going to drop off, and you could have the know-how to tweak it. Not that you have to do everything in a video editor, but you should understand the video editing principles. Those principles hold people's attention. That's why they've existed since they started making motion pictures.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
good way to do. Here's the thing. If there've been studies on this where people have shown clips of an interview going back and forth, and someone did J and L cuts, and then they did it without J and L cuts, and the reaction to the person watching it was like, oh, the one with J and L cuts, they didn't call it that, like version A was so much better. Can you tell us why it was better? No, I don't know why it was better. It was just better. People don't even know it's better, because that's not how the mind works. They just know it's a more natural viewing experience if you're watching something with J and L cuts. And I don't know if these AI things are incorporating that, but maybe they could or should. But maybe that's even too deep in the weeds. You should just know the principles of good storytelling
Yeah.
and video editing, and then it will help you. Like, I use those AI. I use captions.ai. I love it. I throw the clip in that I want, and it does some fancy stuff on top of it. But I don't hate. I don't hate on those things, but I would know how to do it myself.
Yes.
And sometimes I don't like a small part of what AI generated, and I have the know-how to know that, yeah, AI might tell me that's good. It's not. It's not that it's not good. It's not the best it can be.
Yeah. Not the best.
Hope I did that good justice.
Man, that's good stuff right there. That's gonna be all again. That too is gonna be all over there. Greg, before you interject, I just want to say one thing, and again, that's about respecting the process, right? Again, folks who are in this world, in this ecosystem. I see Chris Stone saying, preach Matt, giving 100% and the thank you and all that, because again, that's what we talk to folks about doing: rising above the noise, standing out, bringing about your own personality. Um, Knowing how to do the thing is just as important as doing the thing, because so many people are out here putting out just crap content. Yeah, they are, and I'm sorry, but again, what we and you asked, was this too deep in the woods? No, this is deep in the weeds, where we need to be, because not enough folks are talking about that specific aspect, right? Putting the mirror up to folks and saying, all right, you putting out some content, okay, but what's your goal? What's your intent? Who you trying to reach? You trying to grow your channel? Well, you keep putting out stuff like that. Look at your numbers. Are they moving? Is this the kind of content that really matters and helps you grow a brand, grow a business, that kind of thing? Tweak it, make it yourself, do the ad lib, put the and things of this nature. Make it your own content instead of the CapCut, instead of just captions that AI. And shouts out to them too, because I work with them. I work with a lot of these brands, so I gotta, man, I gotta watch what I say. But we gonna tell the truth. Okay, uh, Greg, go
Man,
ahead, brother. I just wanted to
yeah,
interject and put that in there because that was some good stuff.
I completely agree. And I also want to look at the other side of that. So it's like, us uh, older school guys who think like you got to know this stuff. To some extent, that is true. And I believe that. And I talked about experience. And when it comes to what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to produce content, or is it a hobby? Is it a goal? Right? Is it are you trying to be profitable? What are you trying to do? And is it what you're doing reach that goal? Because for us, we're like, you need to know this. But on the other side, for those who were born into, the younger generation who are born into this technology, they can absorb things and use things at a rate where they may not have to know those things, as long as they can get it to get their goal of what
Mm,
they're trying to do.
hmm
And so sometimes I have to respect the fact that they don't know it, and they don't have to know it. And sometimes when it comes to certain things, because of the technology, we don't have to know all the stuff. We can rely on the technology to produce certain things if we want to. So I kind of look at it both ways. Like, yeah, a lot of times, what is your goal? What are you trying to do? Is what you're doing reaching that goal, right? Are you growing your channel? Are you getting subscribers? Are you getting paid? Like, what are you trying to do? And I'm gonna go back, and because I've seen this before. I've seen this years ago with the ebook, right? So when the ebook first came out, everybody's like, "Oh, write your own ebook, write your own." All the
mm.
marketing gurus would tell you, "Write your own ebook," and then everybody started writing these crappy ebooks that nobody wanted to read. And then people stopped saying write your own ebook. They were like, "No, here, sell mine, come be an affiliate," because all of this garbage was out there that nobody, like, just because they're saying you can do it doesn't mean you can do it well to the point where people will want to um, read it. And now with creating content, the same thing. Like, we're just litter, right? We're littering. Anybody can create content, so you get all this litter. The good stuff will rise above.
The good stuff will rise above and has longevity because we'll
So
weed out mediocre. We will weed out mediocre, and I think that's a good thing, right? Because we're trying to, we would like to get everyone to rise above the line, rise above that noise, and start, like Matt was saying, like you were saying too, Greg, learn the process, learn the tools, learn how to edit, learn. And again, we're not looking down on folks who use those tools, but again, leverage those tools as opposed to completely rely on them because it's not going to be 100% accurate all the time. It's not going to be you. It's going to be it. So if you want it to be you and you're pushing out to your network, your community, put some of that flair in it, like you were saying.
I love that word, YouTube. Mediocre. It's in my slogan. I strive to remove mediocrity from every aspect of my life. I hate mediocre. I want it gone.
Y'all thought we
It's
were
a struggle.
playing,
I don't always win, but I yeah.
but every day you get out there and do the thing, and you start way early. I don't understand that. All right, well you are East Coast and I'm West. I
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
log in and watch you,
It's
Matt. I was for a while. I learned how
no,
to
it's
take
all
care of
good,
my
brother.
lawn from you, but I'm on the replay squad, brother. I
That
can't join
uh,
live at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m.
any watch time in any method, I'll take it. And you
Say
watch
that
as much
again.
or as little. There's never any pressure. That's
That's
that's the
true.
way I that's the way
Okay, let
I
me do this. Let's bring this plane in. Because I just saw today, I literally talking about planes. I just landed, got back home yesterday, and I saw in my YouTube studio talking about some of these tools, some of these platforms. In my studio, I now have the ability to create clips directly in YouTube, in the YouTube studio. So they're trying to subvert, I don't know the word, that's a big word. Some of the captions that AI, the cap cuts, the opuses, the Menvos, the scripts, right? So now having the ability to create clips directly within YouTube Studio. Have you guys seen any of that yet in your studio?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
No, I catch the YouTube news
Yeah.
when it bubbles up
Yeah.
to the mainstream. Other than that, I'm just cranking out videos, man. I'm just focused on cranking them out.
This man is just making content, folks. Yeah. I'm telling you. Descriptions are going all these URLs are going to be in the description. So Matt Haas, again, what did you say, 5? I think it's more than that. I think you got more shows than that. And they're like one right after the other every day.
I'm working on something that's going to be.
Want to break some news here? Come on.
I'll
give you full
try not
screen,
to talk about what I'm going to do. I like to talk about what I have done, but I am putting my 35 years of being a creative professional smashed into a very short edited video. And I'm going to break down all of my secrets. And I'm doing it for free. And it's going to be on YouTube. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be my masterpiece. And I'm almost done with it. And it's going to be on Awesome Fun Things too. That's where I'm going to put it. Awesome.
I was going to say, is it going to be amazing or is it going to be awesome? But okay.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. But
That's exciting.
And fair warning, I think it's going to make a lot of people mad. But you know, I have a way that I do something, and I have a road that I stay on, and I have things that I reject. And I know people use the things that I reject, and I know it's going to rub people the wrong way. But if you want high quality stuff and you want to crank out that stuff at a high pace and you want to do it consistently, like I've been pumping stuff out for 11 years at speed 100. My foot has never come off the gas. I figured out to get all 3 of those, what's needed. And it's a couple days away from hitting the interwebs on Awesome Fun Things YouTube channel. I'm really psyched.
That's a teaser right there. So we'll talk about that next month when you guys are back on the Technologist Forum. We'll talk about that right there. Yeah. Yeah. Stay on your road, stay in your lane. What about you, Greg? You got to top that. Oh my gosh. What you doing?
Listen, so I mean, hey, I already have mine.
Talk about it. See,
it's already out there.
Say it with your chest.
Listen, man, my thing has always been about helping people be profitable. And at the end of the day, if what you're doing isn't profitable, if it's fun, great. But for most people that try to become profitable, they work and work and work and struggle to get profitable. So I took all of my years of experience of being an entrepreneur. I started when I was 12 years old, and I didn't become profitable until my late 20s, early 30s. So people be like, they get on the internet and they be like, "Oh man, I tried this thing for 6 months and it didn't work." And I'm just like, you didn't work hard enough. You didn't work long enough. Sometimes it happens a lot faster, and for some people it does. But for most, there is a period of time where you have to put in the work, and put in the work long enough to be profitable. And what I've done is I took all my years and I put it into a program that shows people how to do that. And it's called the 7-Figure Path. And I show people the exact path to get to 7 figures in their business online.
Love it. Told you, we're not playing here, folks. You see the high caliber of hosts that are here on the Technologist Forum. We got folks with decades worth of experience doing this and that. I need that.
Love it.
Hold on. Put that back on the I need that right there.
I'll mail you one tonight.
See that we folks of action too. I'll mail it tonight. See if it was me or something. Be like, wait a minute, I gotta.
Can I plug? I sell.
The way that my checking is set up is I gotta go into my savings. See if it was me, it would have been okay. Yeah, go ahead and plug, brother. What you got? see how you gonna take the screen one more time, Greg? You better come with something because you're gonna take the screen one more time. Go ahead.
If you want these engagement signs, I make them out of wood. I sell them in a 5-pack. These are the 5 that you can get. They're fun. I like when you push them into the camera because they take more pixels. A lot of people that have these, they just go like this, doink, which is fine, but I like fa-bam. It's different. You know, I'm all for animated overlays, but yeah, if you want a 5-pack of these, matthaas.com will get you there. But I'm throwing these in for a limited time for free because Doc Rock wanted this, so I made it for Doc Rock. So I made a bunch of them. I don't know. It's stupid, but I
It's
like
good
it.
stuff, man. You know what? But you are doing you. Like you said, staying in your lane, staying on your road, all that. And you got to have fun while you do this, because this business, this world, this, again, on camera, talking to folks, this is tough work. And to be doing it, like you said, for over a decade,
Yeah,
all the
for
way down
video.
with the foot pedal down, right? Every
Yeah,
single morning. And
it's
Greg, the
crazy.
stuff that you do as well, right? Again, to stay on when we're on consistently, it's tough. And a lot of folks fall off, and they fall off, kind of like you were leading to, Greg, right before, right before that traction, right before that hockey stick kind of kicks in, right when they just getting ready to get that community, that network, that contract, that brand deal, or whatever it is, that's
That break, they need that break, man.
that break, right?
It's
Whatever's
it's
on your
like the lunch.
vision
It's like the
board as
lunchroom.
making it, man.
Remember when we was young, we'd be online at our school to get the lunch. Like my line was long. Our line started on the wall to go into the thing to get the food. But it's like, you be on that line, and right before you're about to go into the room where all the food is, your friend gets and he's like, "Hey, come talk to me." You get off the line, go back to
Yeah,
his line, and people just keep doing that. They keep
yeah.
getting off the line. And the worst word for an entrepreneur is "and," right? They'd be like, "Oh, I want to do this, and I'm going to do a YouTube channel, and I'm going to do real estate." And it's like, dude, you can't do and everything. You got to focus on one thing long enough to put you in a position so that you can add something at a later time.
That is so valuable, and that goes against having multiple YouTube channels because it spreads you thin.
Yeah.
You know, if I focused on one YouTube channel, I'd be taking over the world by now. But me, I have several interests, so I kind of go crazy.
But at least it's just YouTube. It's not and real estate and affiliate
That's true.
marketing, and I'm going to start a car wash business over here too. It's all in your thing. Like, it's in your wheelhouse. And
But
you've been committed to doing it every single day. So it's
Good
not
point.
5 shows is not an and, it's just 5 shows.
yeah, but that's interesting right there. And I was taking notes while you were saying that. We're going to probably, I'm gonna position this to you guys, maybe as a premium offering, having a conversation, more of an intimate setting about the and, right? When does it make sense to not have multiple locations, or when does it make sense to have multiple locations, when to pivot and to diversify and things like that. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit later about that, and bringing folks in, not just on the open forum, but in our communities as well, to where we actually have that one-on-one, more of a premium content offering, because that's one of the aspirational goals that I had as well for Technologist Forum. Again, in all transparency, yeah, we're gonna come out here and give you all these gems. We're gonna give you all this information, but boom, you wanna learn a little bit more. You wanna dig into Matt Haas's brain. You want Greg to actually tell you and get on the whiteboard and show you 1, 2, 3, kind of those steps. We're gonna offer that as well. And you've heard the caliber of folks as they've discussed. Again, we got decades of worth of experience here. I'm just a Wizard of Oz back here pulling strings, but my goodness, I'm gonna pay for that. Well, I'm hosting, so I can't pay for. Okay, never mind.
You're the Wizard of Oz. I'm the Wizard of Haas.
All right, we done now.
Actually, I have that website.com. That's what I use for my side hustle for Amazon videos.
This I almost called you out your name. Okay. All right. All right. I'm not mad at you, though, man. I'm not mad. Listen to Gary Vee and did exactly like Ann. Okay. Folks.
If you want to have an episode on Amazon
Yeah.
shoppable videos,
right.
And I've learned a lot.
Well,
whole lot.
Don't give me the homework. I'm gonna give you the homework. You know where the Notion board is. You're the one who
boy.
pushed Notion on a lot of us many moons ago. So drop it in there. So there you go. There's the action item. You turn it back on you. We good? We good? We know where everyone is. Appreciate that. A lot of engagement, a lot of conversation. You know where Greg is. You know where Matt is. They will be back every second week of the month. So who knows what we're going to talk about next? Maybe we'll talk about that Amazon engagement stuff. But we'll continue to bring expertise in here. We'll continue to have these conversations every week on the Technologist Forum. If you found value out of this conversation, let me know. Heck, if you did not find value out of this conversation, still let me know. So we continue to evolve, continue to do better, and continue again to rise above the noise. And until next time, folks, we are out. That's Greg Russell right there, and the guy over there with the sticks in his hand. That's Matt Haas. We out.